Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode number 307. With me, George, in this week, joined by the beautiful Triple S. Yeah, Mr. Furk himself, it's Seb. He's GT7 running on a Switch 2 to my Gran
Ugh.
Turismo 1 barely running on an N gauge. How's it going, you absolutely handsome devil?
It's going pretty well. What about yourself, George?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I mean, we've got a great episode lined up. Like I say, I think we're going to talk about Gran Turismo 7 running on the Switch 2, which baffles my mind. I think we've got
You
some
got the
talk
wrong
about.
person around for that.
Oh,
You got the absolute wrong person.
you don't need to be the Switch King to know that that's just Frankenstein in the hell out of the world. We've got some talk about sadly, some more layoffs in the industry and a little bit of talk about Xbox's strategy. And we're going to frame that up with a talk about a general health check for the industry, Seb, which I think you, Dr. Seb over there, wants to perform. No doubt the committee, our new sort of shadow masters, probably told him to do this, a little whisper in his ears. Go back, check the Ponzi's if you want to know a little bit more about the wing eating brigade that controls us nefariously from the shadows. Um,
It's part of the lore now.
it's got to be.
The
I
committee
don't want
is
to let
part
it
of the
go. It
lore.
was just arrived a little bit kind of past the Longhorn-esque, and I was like, no,
Mhm.
I'm keeping the committee. I want that. Um, yeah, so like a magpie grabbing all the gold out of the stream and taking it back to my nest. Seb, I've got to ask you because it's only right and proper, and it's part of the show's history. What you what you been playing?
Woo! Okay, so the King of the Indies has been doing it
I,
all things indie
Whoa,
this
whoa,
year.
whoa, 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 whoa. Let's just park that there because a little bit like King of the Ring, 2026 is all about the indie crown being up for grabs
Oh,
because
I like this. Who's gonna challenge?
a new challenger has entered. Dun, dun, dun. It's me. I'm the indie king now. I'll wear the hat. I'll cut a
We will
promo
have to
right
see.
now that'll leave your knees shaking to the point where people think that you've broken a set of maracas backstage. That's the sort of situation we'll be in. But pray tell, Prince of the Indies, pray tell.
Prince of the Indies. Blasphemy. Absolute
Tell
blasphemy.
me, tell me. I'm going to regret
Okay.
this, by the way, when we get to the section where I get to tell you about the games I've been playing. But yeah, cat amongst the pigeons. Seb, tell me about these games.
All right, so everybody, I we don't have time to talk about all the games I've been playing because we'll be here forever. But I'm just going to do a two-pronged attack here. So if you check out the illustrious indie rankings on the singleplayerexperience.com, you will see that I have already reviewed and ranked 10. I'm talking about 10 indie games that have come out this year. This
Hmm.
year. And you know, and you
You've
can also
slept on
see,
one of them.
oh, I probably have, but you have, there's so many good ones. But then,
I'm nervous. Give me this top 10.
oh
Just give me the
man, so
names. Just grab it. Boom. And then I'll
okay,
tell you if I'm nervous or not.
Reloaded, Jackal, Arrow Shot, Mio, Big Hops, Mewgenics. Mewgenics is one of the crown prince of this year so far.
Keep
And then
going.
you Okay. Then you have Colored Pencil Bakery. You have Don't Go Up There. You have Book of Fae, and you have Vampire Hunter.
Hmm.
So not a bad list so far. I would probably
That's
say
a,
the
it's a
oh
great list. You've been very busy, but I think you
yeah,
slept on the biggest game, biggest indie game. This is where I
this
find out
year
it's
so
not
far.
indie. Oh yeah, massive.
Okay. Can you tell me what it is?
Oh, you'll have to wait. Tell me about these
Okay.
games you've been playing.
I'll only focus on the one that I think like people really need to check out, and that's
Well,
Mewgenics.
no, indulge yourself because a guilty confession. I am going to talk about Switch One game.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh, okay. So I'll add two then. Big Hops, if you've played a game called Little Gator Game, which was kind of like a 3D platformer that introduced Breath of the Wild mechanics into like a smaller, more linear kind of like style. This, if for the people who don't know, Big Hops has and Little Gator Game both have like almost like this Nintendo 64 PS2 mascot platformer energy to where like the respective like protagonists, in this case Big Hops is about a little guy who's a frog who's basically has like these Breath of the Wild mechanics, the climbing, the jumping, the platforming, and such like that, and the puzzle solving, because like they've taken Big Hops is a game where they've taken like some of the shrines from Breath of the Wild and just made a whole game out of that kind of concept. You
What,
and
the
your sister,
physics or
yeah, I would probably say the physics and I hey, we're presenting you with a problem, go at it your own different, you go at it your own way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's one of those to where I'm like, if you see the game, you can kind of like get a. Are we doing a video version of this game?
Mm.
I'm a video version.
Yeah, if you want to share screen, we can do that.
Okay, I'll send you a request and so while that's going on, so yeah, it is one of those to where like Big Hops, action, I would say adventure platformer, puzzle solver. You're hopping around trying to kind of like solve these little puzzles all the while you're trying to get home with your sister. Your sister is kind of like doing her own thing. She's trying to figure out a way to kind of get off of the isolated areas that you're in as well. But meanwhile, like this kind of like malevolent, like devious creature has told you like, oh, I can help you get home, but you have to find basically their equivalent of the Dragon Balls for me. And so you go around and you try to solve all these little puzzles in like four different biomes, and each biome has its own like probably like set of 10 to 12 like puzzles, and you're using like the area around you to try to get to other areas and also figure out like get the little like I would say the little keys that this malevolent creature is asking for. And all the while you're trying to, you know, basically figure out different environments to kind of use to your advantage there. So
This looks
it's
cool.
like yeah, it's one of those to where I would probably say it's for those people who want something smaller, but something more like meaty gameplay wise to play. Like if you were a person who likes Mario Odyssey and Zelda, I would probably say this is a game that you can probably pick up and play and get like maybe like 12 hours of enjoyment out of it. And this will kind of hold you over as a good indie game replacement for when you're waiting in between those big Nintendo releases. You know, it
Mm.
has it has a lot of like really cool Nintendo 64-ness energy to it, but with like I'd probably say with modern day gameplay mechanics. So if that's one of those things that
It's
kind of
given me
like
a lot of PS2 energy, to be honest.
yeah, for sure. For sure. So I'm like, it's one of those to where you have so many different ways you can handle it. And I'm not the best like 3D platformer guy in the world either. So I'm like, it's one of those to where if I'm playing a 3D platformer, it has to be good enough to hold my attention because that's not my natural genre of choice.
Mm.
So I'm like, you go around, you can pick up different bugs, different plants, and all those different things help you either by helping you gain health or gain permanent like stats boost, or are absolutely changing like the aesthetics around you as well to get to your advantage. So I'm like, it is very much one of those games to where I'm like, you can kind of tell like this is a game that could have been like in the early 64 to PlayStation 2 kind of like era, but there's this big retro style games right now that are going on where devs are like making games like this now, like crazy. And it's one of those to where I'm like, as time goes on, I feel like Nintendo is going to really need to step up their quality and what they're putting out, because like we're getting games on this level that are also like being inspired by old school Nintendo games. There's like a couple of indie games that are coming out in the next couple of weeks that are very much like, oh, I can see this is very much inspired by Mario Tennis and Mario like golf. And but it's an indie layered version of those things.
But Seb, you said it in the words. They're inspired by.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing though. It's like I say that they're inspired by, but the inspirations haven't been killing it lately, if you haven't noticed. Like none of the Mario sports games have been taking the world by storm. I mean, a lot of them are
Seb, Seb,
5 to 7 out
Seb,
of 10s right now.
Seb. It much like Dwayne The Rock Johnson said during his early WWF career.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you say because this one's got Nintendo on the box. What's mummy gonna buy?
That is true.
Which
That
has
is
got the
true.
most brand recognition? Flippy the Frog, who'll be dead in within 18 months, as good as this game may or may not be, or is it Mario Odyssey that you're buying?
Yeah, that is true. A mid-tier Mario game could absolutely eat the lunch out of a really good indie game any day of the
Yeah,
week
I'm just
because
lighting
of
the fuse and stepping back, but
no, I
I've got to
wholeheartedly
chuck it
agree
out
with you.
there. I mean, they've done the hard yards, as you say, inspired by what I want to see from the indie scene, and I do believe we see it, is something fresh, something new, something different, something borrowed, something, dare I even say it said blue, you know.
Something blue. So let me give you something new then.
Yeah, what's
Let me
this
give
other
you
game?
let me
You got one more hit, and it's this Nexus title that you talk of. Is that right? Nexus?
yeah, it's Mewgenics.
And then I'm going to teach you about, and you better get your YouTube fingers ready because I want share screen for this bad boy. You better get your
Okay.
internet fingers ready for what I think is a sleeper hit.
A sleeper hit. I'm excited to see this. All right, so Mewgenics. Mewgenics is a game from the creators of Super Meat Boy and also and Binding of Isaac.
Yep.
If you've played either of those games, you kind of already know what you're getting yourself into here. It is one of the weirdest games where basically you are a cat breeder and the
Oh
whole
my.
premise. Oh yeah, you're a cat breeder who's
Formats. Give me the formats. What's this on? And show don't grow. Show you don't grow. A video show now. We don't mess. Well, we mess around. If you're listening on audio and you're heading down the B1127 somewhere, I love you still. But if you want to, bizarrely, and I don't know why, even though, I wish YouTube would recognize the fact that we're a successful audio show coming over to video.
oh yeah, for sure.
Pumpers, pumpers. So come and subscribe in your millions. But yeah, got the video, so come and have a look at us. Released
While
day and date on the Sunday now because you demanded it. God damn you. You demanded
oh
it.
they demanded.
Mm,
I like that. I like that a
yeah.
lot. So while I'm pulling up video image here, let me just give you the general rundown of what Mewgenics is. Mewgenics is a game that
Oh.
is can you see it?
No, I can't see it, but I've now twigged on the name because I heard you say it properly, and it was Mewgenics as in meow, and you're
Yeah,
breeding
like
cats, which show me everything and tell me the
okay.
formats. I've got something I can get this on, have I? Is it on Switch too? Say yes.
I don't know if it's on Switch too. I don't play the
Mumsy,
lesser inferior
take Seb
consoles.
hostage again until Mewgenics is on Switch 2. Look, I'll tell him I'll take PS5. Look, I'll take
You,
Xbox.
okay. I don't think you'll touch your Xbox, by the way. Well,
Someone will if Mewgenics is on it.
yeah, somebody's got to. Somebody's got to. All right, so right now it is officially a PC game. It looks like it is being ported over to all the things. Well, Binding of Isaac and the lineage there. So I'm like, it'll be on everything before you know it.
It
But
will.
yeah. So this is a so for those of you who don't know, this is like a tactical role-playing roguelike life simulator. And it's made by all the what is going on with you, George?
Sting, we've got another roguelike, fella. It's just every game's a roguelike these days. Every single bloody game.
You don't complain when you got like all these simulators and such like that that you're playing
Yeah, but even
nonstop.
they're roguelikes these days.
Hey man, it's the genre right now. It's the genre.
Hey, it's been the genre for some time. Hey, this is
All right, so
Mewgenics.
this is Mewgenics. So
Wow, I feel like I'm
Mewg
watching Bluey.
it kind of looks like that in a way. So you take it like this. You have all these cats, and you have this one house, and the job of the house is to house these cats, and then you Pokemon style take all the cats that you have in take four-man squad out, and you try to basically go as long as you can, keeping these cats alive all the while you're trying to take down all the big
Oh,
bads of each biome. And
get me
here's the thing.
gameplay. Get me gameplay.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I'm gonna get you some gameplay in a minute. Right now, let's see, because I don't
Oh
want to
wow, it
show.
gets better. Look at that.
Yeah. So,
Wow. I don't.
so
I've taxed worse.
have you ever played Fire Emblem? Like, the grid style,
Oh,
the grid style version of Fire Emblem and meets like Cult of the Lamb. And it's one of those things to where like so you have a four cat squad and you can choose each one of your cats in
what
each
the?
so in each one of your cats
Oh,
you choose a different trait. You choose a different trait for in a class for each cat. So, and you have like a mage that you can choose, a cleric, a archer, ranger type of class, or you can have a brute style type of class for each different cat. And and you go out and you experience the hard knot lives of the streets that are trying to kill each and every one of your kittens. And every one of your kittens are generated by what goes on to what goes on in your house. So you build up your
that.
house. Yeah. So you build up your house to also
Oh, I
build
remember when
up.
this show was clean. Now you brought out
Yeah.
Cat Prown.
So you build up your house in order to build up your resources that you take out into your turn-based cat fighting like street brawler, roguelike experience. So in other words, it has like so many really cool mechanics, but like the general premise is that cats will always come to your house to join up with your squad. Now, you could take Cat George and Cat Megan and breed them together to make a new super cat.
You
And
made me
that
in this game,
I have the whole UCP squad in this game. Now, don't
and
get me
I'm
wrong.
called Gorge.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, you're the only survivor right now because this game is absolutely brutal. Like, absolutely brutal. Like, this has some of the humor and charm of Pokemon, but it's made by the Super Meat Boy creator. It's made by the Binding of Isaac creator. So none of your people last very long. It's hard for me because I get attached to like little Gorge or RGT or Pikachu, and I go out and I'm like, oh, I have a really good squad. I bred my cats well. I have Gorge, who's basically like a ranger who can do like damage from afar. I have RGT, who's going to be my big bruiser, who can take like some of the brunt of all the damages,
That's true.
and
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, and then I had Seb, who was supposed to be the healer and such like that, who basically would like after every turn
Did you
automatically
make
heal
him
like.
suave and good looking as well?
No, Seb was a white pasty tomcat who basically lasted one run before he got curb stomped into the ground. And
Rename emoji Tom.
I will, I will. I have to find the suavest cat I can find for OG Top. But no, so like the general
OG.
premise,
Actually, we got his name wrong, dude. OG.
yeah, I'm gonna do OG, and now I'm gonna do OG, and then I'm gonna do like what was the cat, or what was the like the OJ Pepe is what I'm gonna call him. Like a combination of Pepe Le Pew and OG Top.
What? Catch a Pepe?
OG Pepe. Like
Okay.
Pepe Le Pew, the skunk from
That
Looney
would be a
Tunes.
very suave looking feline.
It'd be a suave cat. But so the general premise is, George, is that you are in this house, like you see right here. And in this house, your cats all are trying to live their best lives. Some of them get older as the days go on. So like if you're playing 3 days into a run, your cat's going to age. And if he ages out of the fighting circuit, you can like give him up to another like different clinic or different place in the town, and in exchange for those live cats, whatever they do with those cats is none of your business. But instead of those cats, instead of when you rehome those cats, you basically get a different thing that you can upgrade your house with. And when you upgrade your house, you can upgrade your breeding system and your cats. And when you upgrade all that, you can send your cats out and try to make them last longer in each and every run that you go on. The game is extremely challenging. It is one of those games to where like you are playing this and you always have to have concepts in your mind because like the game has 10,000 sets of rules, almost like Baldur's Gate, but and you can play within those rules or you can try to like use your cat's genetics, physics, and class to try to like wiggle yourself around rules to kind of like win each and every fight, like Fire Emblem. And it's like a genius thing of like taking the turn-based style of Fire Emblem, but making like a almost like the Pokemon breeding system that was big in like the Pokemon early Pokemon games, and like they're combining those concepts and then they're taking that and then they're giving you a huge story, a huge campaign, and then they're also giving you a masterclass in presentation and in music. The one of the things that I think is like absolutely phenomenal about this game, nonstop, is the fact that like the game is too. I've talked to so many people who are playing this right now. The game is almost 120 hours long right now. 120 hours long.
How much is it?
I looks like right here you can get it for a cool 30. But yeah, at a discounted price, usually around like that 20 to 21 marker is where I've seen it. Like
So
I haven't
scratch
signed
all
into
that
my
down. Is this a Seb must buy or a Seb snooze? And I think I know the answer.
I think this is a must buy for people who like turn-based games.
Is this an
For
early shot at not only indie game of the year in your opinion, but game of the year? And should be
no.
featured in the equation, or is this just a throwaway little fun game? Because not forgetting that the previous titles that the developers made have kind of been within that pantheon of being recognized for their greatness by
I think yeah.
celebration of a gong, all three.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like in that sense, like the creators of the game have been recognized for making like some all-time indie games, like absolutely all-time bangers. But here's the thing, it's like this year is so stacked. I'm talking about like immensely stacked with not just indie games that are coming out, but when you reach game of the year, I think that's a different topic. I also think like when you ask me that, I have to take an equation of like who's with us, and who's going to play what, because I don't think RGT is going to play a certain litany of
Oh,
games.
I'm
I
not,
don't.
mate. No, 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 no. I'm
I
not.
was like,
No, no. I'm thinking, not the Ponzi's.
yeah, okay, gotcha.
I'm
Like
thinking
industry-wide game of the year is what you're
actual
thinking.
real awards.
No, no, I don't. I think this is.
Because the Ponzi's probably, are they the Dundies of the gaming industry or what?
I get the reference, The Office,
Yeah.
but not. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
where I'd classify those. Maybe like the MTV Awards of the gaming of
okay.
the gaming industry. But no, yeah, it's a weird thing because like I think out of all the games that come out that are coming out right now, this until yesterday was the highest rated game across the industry on Metacritic and OpenCritic.
You see, I speak sense.
Yeah, it was. And
Makes
then,
sense.
but as of today
If the
and
world ended
yesterday,
now, it'd be in the running, wouldn't it?
It'd be in the top two because I think Resident Evil, not Resident Evil came out with its reviews, and I think like they're tit for tat right now as far as like the 90s go, as far as
Okay,
like
right.
OpenCritic and
Well,
Metacritic.
game on.
Yeah, because
Um,
IGN, GameSpot, and all this gave Mewgenics 9 to 9.5s, and
they probably only gave
Resident
Resident
Evil
Evil 8.
Resident Evil 8, I think was right up there. I think IGN gave it a pretty high score as well. So it's one of those things to where I'm like, it. This is going. I think the ports or this is coming out later this year, and I think like
Their
that's a
money.
terrible time. It's a terrible time. Let's be honest. Like
No, I
we
think
just.
if this garners enough kind of fan fever now, I think by the time it hits console, as long as it's a good price point, and if it can maintain that Steam price point, it'll be a bit less by the time it gets to console. Um,
I played this on Steam Deck, and so I can't imagine this running badly on the Switch
oh
2
no,
as
as
well.
if it would. No, it'd smash this.
Yeah.
Easy.
So
Well, let
so
me.
you can kind of see the gameplay though, like and get a
Yeah.
kind of feel for
Okay,
what we're talking about
Prince.
here.
Clear the screen.
All
Clear the
right, gotcha,
screen.
gotcha. Go ahead. Tell me what I've missed out on.
Okay. So now this is either going to fly or it's going to sink.
Okay.
And you can critique as I say, and you can Google as I say. I don't think you'll need to Google. I think you've heard of this. I've been spending a little bit of time on a game called Star
Oh.
Trek Voyager. Laugh it up, fuzzball. All right.
I love Star Trek Voyager. I like that.
Yeah.
Across
Now,
the Unknown.
that's correct. Now, this is, as far as I can see, a roguelike resource management game. And Sting? Yeah,
I
you're
think I
right.
classify that as like survival strategy.
Yeah, I think it's within that ballpark. What I'm going
Yeah.
to say is going to be very confusing to you. And I spoke to a friend earlier this week, and I used this description. It's absolutely diabolical, but I love it. What do you make of that? Let me give you the
I
premise.
okay. I've actually played this by the way.
Oh, but you didn't rate it. You didn't put it up there. Why?
I only played the demo of it when they did it on Steam Next Fest. So I haven't
Uh,
actually like jumped into it or anything like that, but I'm like jumped into it and got the full experience. But I did actually play the demo, and I didn't think the demo was bad. I actually think like it's I think like the mechanics are really cool. The actual like choices that they give you with the dialogue, as far as like to be able to trade different aspects to
I
and like
agree. Let me give you
the
the
menu.
shakedown as to why I would say it's diabolical in a way. And I think you'll see where this is coming from. So I like Star Trek. Confession, I'm out there. I know I made a Star Wars reference on the way in, but don't get your knickers in a twist. Um, Revenge is a dish best served cold, as they say. Um, I like Star Trek. I like Star Trek Voyager actually quite a lot. And this game follows the opening scenes and allows you to play through the caretaker mission or episode and take alternative choices, as Seb said. And that's very interesting. It lets you play with the Voyager lore. Underneath that is a resource management and collection game which for all intents and purposes I quite enjoy. You're thrown to the other side of the Delta Quadrant, whatever it is, out in the middle of nowhere somewhere by some not necessarily malevolent, but certainly acting for a higher purpose than we could ever imagine, sort of godlike celestial being. Things go pear-shaped and you kind of burn your route home by doing the morally right thing. Left there, you know it's basically 75 years to get home, even at high speeds, or hope to find a bit of a shortcut. Having been thrown to the side of the universe, the game mechanic is that the inside of the Voyager is absolutely smashed up, and that presents itself with a series of ruined rooms, a little bit like the Fallout Shelter game.
That's what it reminded me a lot of.
And then within those rooms, you build different functionality that you would require on a starship, not necessarily Voyager lore correct, nor in the right placing on the ship. But if you know anything about Star Trek, that menu's like an LCARS menu, and you kind of build things within there. All so far, so great. Where it starts to bog down a little bit for me, the resource collection feels like at any moment in time that an ad for Kingdom Clash of Kingdoms is going to come up where you can buy these resources by watching this video. I am not digging that necessarily so much. Now, everyone will say, well, yeah, but that's not what they're doing, George. But it might not be what they're doing. That's what it feels like, and that kind of bugs me. It's like I was trying to build something for the for a specific part of the storyline to advance it, and it was like you can't build it. I kept looking around at the menu. Now I was playing it on Switch handheld, so it was a little bit small, but I needed these never mentioned or talked about before gel packs. I was like, right, well, how do I make these? And then I had to build something else to make those, and I didn't have the resource for that. So it's all a little bit obtuse, I think, at first. And that's why I kind of call it diabolical, because there are moments where I'm absolutely loving it. You kind of fly from planet to planet, and it's a bit choose your own adventure. I think Seb's got the bits up on screen. You got to
Yeah, for
collect
sure.
enough sort of dilithium, for want of a better word, to keep the engines powered. Having these different rooms around on requires power, so that's something that you're constantly having to hunt down. Got to make sure you got adequate crew quarters. I'm only running on emergency quarters at the minute, which is having an effect on crew morale. I'll tell you one thing it reminds me of, Seb. In the side on, when you kind of click on a room, you can click on it
Hmm.
again and go into the room. And it does give me very U-boat vibes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, this is an indie game that's managed to attract a Star Trek license from what I can work out. I don't think they're a big studio. This is why I'm hailing this to be indie game. Um, yeah, I'm
I
saying,
think
and
it's
hey, well, wait, wait now. I want to show the collective that I'm playing willing. Okay, you want me out playing new games? I'll come out and play your new games, but I'll come out and play a U-boat simulator. It's indie. It's indie. Come at me. I'll come out and play a Star Trek game. Yeah, I'm doing
I
it.
was gonna say I think this is very India adjacent. I you know like
One a
when
month,
you
there's my 10 games. Boom. I'm in your face. I'm the king of the indies, baby.
we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this
I'm
year
going to grab
progresses.
Ken. Is Ken indie?
Karen is indie. Yeah, I've actually been playing Karen. I don't like Karen though.
Right.
It is way too hard for my liking. But
Well, I'm going to grab it and then be ace at it so you hate me and finish it and tell you how what a great 10 out of 10.
I hope you do have a 10 out of 10 experience with it. I keep falling and such like that, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah,
But
but it's a
it,
roguelike, so surely every time you fall, you learn a bit more and you can climb a bit higher, or is it even more punishing than that?
I haven't felt I okay, I'll be honest. I don't feel the rogue components as strongly or present as present as a lot of like rogue games that I play. It feels more it feels more
There it is, the
survivalist.
bloody biolab, sorry.
Hmm. No, keep going. But now I going back to Star Trek real quick. I think this is really cool. It reminds me a lot of like the game I recommended months ago called The Altars, to where you're building your ship and you're kind of like having to do resource management and mixed in a little bit with, like you said, Fallout Shelter, and because like this does feel like it can be a mobile game in a lot of ways, to where
Yeah.
like it
At the
feels
top
like
of the
this.
screen, if you're on the audio, there's some resources at the screen that are numbered that you have to collect up in small amounts. Uh, if you're seeing it on the video, you'll see it. It just feels very mobile, but mobile and some of the assets are quite hard to get hold of. And like I say, it wouldn't be a surprise to me if this popped up and tried to charge me or make me watch a video as some clickbaity game that I'm shooting at soldiers coming down at me in their thousands, and then my soldier upgrades, and then there's two soldiers. You know the advert does my
Yeah, for sure.
bloody head in. Um,
I wonder, just out of curiosity, what like I know you said you were a Star Trek fan. What made
mm,
you dive into this one, and how does it play on console? Because I played it on PC, where it kind of feels at home with a mouse a little bit.
Um, I mean, yeah, if you pop it off now, 'cause I think people are probably bored about Star Trek. I think it plays reasonably well. I've never really had any issues with it. It's the usual sort of L or R to get across that top menu. I'm playing it on Switch, as I say, on handheld mode, so I don't know if there's any mouse functionality baked into that. But if there was, I very much doubt I'd use it because I'm very anti that sort of drivel.
You
Mouses
have your
work.
Switch too, though. What have you not tried the mouse component on that?
I'm not into that. No, I'd much rather make it. Yeah, I'm not into. I'm not mean to making it easy. Said, what the hell's wrong with you? I also don't want to be part of the. I'm not a big enough boy to be part of the PC Master Race, and I certainly don't want to rock up to a PC Master Race party with a Switch 2 on its side. I just think there's something a little bit off about rocking a Switch mouse, Switch 2 Joy-Con inverted. It's
That's like
uh,
50% of what the Switch 2 was boasting as its like prime features this like generation though. It
yeah, and
was like
the
the
other
camera and
50%,
the mouse.
mate, the other 50% was that it made the Switch 1 games look better. Do you know what? That's why I bought it. It made some of my Switch 1 games playable, and for that, I'll always be grateful for it.
That's funny.
Where was I at? Yeah, so I find that okay.
Okay.
I'm a Star Trek fan, so some of the interactivity of the menus is a nod to like the classic LCARS menu, as they call it in the show. Full nerd depth reveal from me there. It's like George, only the. Oh
As
my
a
goodness,
Star
mate.
Trek fan, does this kind of like scratch the itch of what you actually been wanting out of a
Ah,
good
that's what you
Star
were
Trek
saying.
game?
How does it compare
Yeah,
to other more recent Star Trek games? I grabbed that last one, the more sort of Telltale type experience. I can't remember what it was called. I enjoyed that to start with, then bounced off of it. I'll be honest with you.
I didn't hear great things.
No, it was okay, but it wasn't what I wanted. While I was playing this, I did think about going back to it just to have like that Star Trek experience. I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah, I don't think I will. I think this is a way better game than that, by the way. And I know a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with it, but I think if you're into Star Trek, I got the premium edition with the DLC, which adds some more proper
Jeez.
story. Oh yeah, stand back, pal. If I'm going in both feet. Yeah.
How much was that?
Um,
Because I think the standard game is like, correct me if I'm wrong, like 30 to $35.
Yeah, it was like $35, I think, for the full
Okay,
pack. So yeah, I
gotcha.
thought why not? And the reason why is because I think from what I can work out and from what I'm working out, it adds in some more direct story related missions from further into Voyager's storyline, or some more maybe cast poignant moments. Either which way, it pads out a game that I thought, well, that might need padding out, because if it gets a bit sort of procedural and it's sort of mid to two-thirds, having that sort of actual properly generated mission to swing for is probably going to be its saving grace as you make the final grasp in the closing hours. So yeah, without that, the game without any of the Star Trek story elements on top of it, and you're just sort of flying from, ultimately the main aim of the game is to get home, so you're just flying from star system, collecting up these resources so you can fill out Voyager. Yeah, good luck to you. That could be well boring. And the last thing to say on that one is the combat. What the hell? Um,
That felt
you
like an afterthought.
Yeah, you don't auto resolve because you know it's going to end up you're going to get burnt. Even if you go in with 1,000 torpedoes and fully beamed up and rack, the ghost didn't agree. Did you see the lights?
It did. It
They're
looks like
like,
the
no,
Undertaker's re-entered
yeah,
to the room.
my favorite game of all time. All these little video Easter eggs talk about cannibalizing your audio feed just to get people onto YouTube. If only half of those people showed up, I'd be retired. So, uh,
Have you ever played Stellaris? It's like a 4X civilization style game in space. It's a
I've
lot
played
of
it.
like yeah. I'm like, did that not click with you? Because it seems like if you're big into the sci-fi,
Stellaris is way.
it's deeper.
Oh, mate. Like, if we're measuring those two games by scale,
Mhm.
Voyager is an evaporating puddle on a Texas red hot pavement.
That's pretty hot here.
Stellaris is the fully stocked Olympic-sized swimming pool right next to it.
I was
I
wondering,
I
like, it
bounced
seems like
off
some
that
you
because it was like I wanted to like it. I really did. And as soon as I started peeling back on the layers of that onion, I just thought, wow, that's one big mother effing onion. I ain't.
it's if you actually dive into it and commit to it, it's like it's really good. I'm a civilization person, so I'm like, it's just it feels like everything I wanted out of a space type of game like that. But I'm like,
I
you
kind of
love
played
space stuff.
I know. Mate, I've bought the game. I own
Hmm.
it. I've actually spent real money on it, and I've tried. It's just, it's not
It
Little
just
Big
didn't click.
Workshop, is it? Well, I bounced off when I kind of drained my Little Big Workshop addiction. I went on the hunt for other strategy games, and that's when
Hmm.
I found Stellaris. Maybe if I go back to it now and try and play it without the fact that I'm thinking that it should be these little guys walking around making mopeds, I might get into it a bit more. Because I did find that I wanted a game that was just exactly like Little Big Workshop and then couldn't find anything like it. Um,
I like to congratulate you, George. You are playing a 2026 game. Like that's a big thing. And
Welcome
normally
to the party, pal.
every time I'm on, I hear about a PS2, PS3, or
Let me
Vita
put it
game.
right because I need to give you an update because also on that same Switch 2, I've been playing my 2017 Switch 2 Farming Simulator Edition because I'll tell you why, because everyone is on tenterhooks because
Okay.
I mentioned that I played this last in a hotel and I didn't pay attention to it when it was on 120 times speed, Seb. Okay, and I nearly blew the harvest.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Now, if Voyager's diabolical, this is catsick wrapped up in a tortilla bread and fed to you one little nibble at a time.
Oh
It
no.
is. It's a great game though, and I love it because because it's farming simulator full fat on the go. It's not got mods, admittedly, but it's still the full fat. It's got the bits in I need. All right, it has.
Okay.
But I turned it on. I'd saved it. Last thing I did before I turned it off was put it in real time speed. Dude, I came back to that combine. Me and the AI, we cleaned up, baby. Got the three fields in time. While I got one field half um, harvested, hooked up my boy on my brand new plough, wheeled him in, boom. He started ploughing the side that we'd already harvested, and said, let me tell you, it was probably on Switch 2, one of the most beautiful sites. I cleared the map down, cleared off the in-game helper, just positioned this right. I tell you what, I don't been prouder. It was this like the AI just powering these vehicles up and down. Me sat there like farm manager, watching the combine go to. I'd matey on the plough. I was like, yeah, I've made it. I'm someone. I'm sat there. My wife, right? She's watching Hoarders, the American show Hoarders, where they go and yeah, oh yeah, baby. So I'm looking up every now and then from my little slob pile on the sofa,
So
feeling
you're playing this in handheld.
oh yeah,
I gotcha,
feeling
gotcha.
not so bad about myself sat playing this game because I
Mhm.
look up and see people in abject filth. I saw this one woman, sorry, poor sorry woman. She was living or in a caravan that
Okay.
can only, or you might call it a mobile home over there. I don't know what you might call it, or you might even call it a house. This thing it was piled high with garbage inside, and I mean garbage. And this woman's only source of income was the eggs that she was selling from the chickens that she had. Now she was breeding these chickens so she could get more chickens, so she could get more eggs. Well, she didn't really have a door on her house, so the chickens were using her house also as their house,
Oh
and
no.
she was eating and living in here. I also saw a woman who had decided that she couldn't toilet anywhere other than these bottles. So she toileted one and two. I don't know if the number one and number two crosses the Atlantic, Seb. You'll have to tell me. But she took a number one and number two in these bottles and stored them in her garden. Not for a
Oh
not for a couple
no.
of weeks. I'm talking maybe 20 years. And this garden was like four of those maybe 10-litre bottles. I don't know how a video game show gets talking about this, but what it gave me was this separation
It's a
where
wild episode.
I was in this on American map tending to my beautiful looking cornfields, and then the contrast was a lady who had forgotten how long some of the eggs in her what can only be called a kitchen had been there because the chickens just lay him on the counter. She's not sure. Were actually so off that
Oh no.
someone immediately spewed up. I'm looking forward to getting the show finished so I can watch more of it because nothing elevates your personal status than watching someone in. And I feel sorry for him, I do, but and as well, this one guy. Oh, that's £100,000 painting, and the guy was like, it's not, it's not,
That's
it's
so
just
funny.
not. Everything in here's worth money. We ain't got time to go through all of it. Well, you have to. Right, okay.
What?
And this one woman, like the first day, she'd put a chair in the back of these three skip lorries, massive skip lorries turned up.
Okay.
After one day, she had like managed to come to the conclusion that she needed to get this chair gone, a broken chair. It went in the back of this truck. That was it. One full day's work, nothing else chosen. That was it.
That
And this
is
woman's house
insane.
was insane.
What? So what is on the docket for you to play? Like, I know we normally do that at the end of the show. Do you have like a spreadsheet or a list or what? What inspires
Oh,
you
I've got.
to choose your next
I'm
games?
trying to have a little bit of a game plan to stay relevant. So I'm throwing it. I'm dragging in because it was late addition to the family. I'm dragging in
Uh-huh.
U-boat into
Okay.
2026 because I grabbed it back end of the year, and I've
It's
only
new to
really.
you at
It's
this
new to
point.
me, and I think it was a
Yeah.
relatively new game out back in 2025.
Hmm.
I'm bringing that forward. I've got
Okay.
Can. Well, I'm getting Can. Probably this weekend I'll get Can.
You're gonna have to
Uh,
tell me if you like it better than me, because right now it feels strong six-ish, but I get I'm on the outside looking in.
Hey, look, a strong six makes that an equidistant game by my ranking to Star
That
Wars
is true.
Outlaws, you know?
That is true. That is true.
And look at all the bang and polish there. One would argue that is a pretty big game. So yeah, look, I was thinking this today, right?
Mhm.
And you will be defeated by your own logic.
Okay.
But if you could get this game on sale for $20, it's worth it for the Sabak alone. Convince me otherwise.
Mhm. I would probably say if they made a standalone Sabacc game, they can get away with selling it for $20. The price of admission that I would have to play Star Wars Outlaws in order to get to like Sabacc feels like it is a negative more than a positive as far as like,
Did you finish that game?
yeah, finish. I don't mind a lot of the game. I think the stealth was absolutely god awful when I played it at launch. I do think like some of the characters, especially in the later part of the game, are absolutely stale. I like Cave S, but that was her
I'm
name. I
gonna
can't.
let me throw you a controversial George take on this now.
Okay.
I feel like the game that they now have fixed to appeal to people that were never going to play it in the first place presents a fundamentally flawed and broken experience compared to the cohesive offering they put up that people just didn't gel with.
So
The
you think they should
new
have left it alone?
the new run and gun mechanics, as much as I didn't like the stealth, make no flipping sense.
But doesn't that feel Star Warsy in a way?
Not in a way that makes any sense. She's not one of the core characters. She's just someone living in the Star Wars universe as a smuggler. She's pretty good, but sneaking into an Imperial fortress and killing over 300 guys and not leaving a mark. Wow. How come we've never heard of K-Vest before?
I get that. I
So
also
to
get.
keep her small and keep it sensible, it's better that she sneaks in and sneaks out, be more of a ghost. I hated those sections. I absolutely detested them. But narratively, cohesive wise, it made way more sense than walking in there like Arnold Schwarzenegger with a minigun.
I do get that. I don't think this game's perfect in any means or any facet. And I think like the what is it, the glider or like the bike that you use is one of the most abysmal forms of travel that I played in like the last 5 years. But I
What's this
do
bike?
like
Which bike in Ken or?
If I remember correctly, there was one and there's the bike you ride in Tatooine, right?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Why don't you
And
like
then
that? I mean, didn't you ever
I
just
didn't like
drive
that
into the
one.
desert and channel your inner, not just the men, but the women and the children too?
I I
And
like
just get
the
moody blues into the distance Tatooine sunset with, and just sit happy with your Tatooine Sand People killing actions.
I like the concept more than I like the execution. I like the put it like this, I don't like the way it controls, and I for sure don't like the way the combat works whenever people were chasing after you. Like
That let me
that
let's
that
end
felt
that there because I think
ugh.
I think we need to bring ourselves sharply back in focus because not only
Okay.
I'm about to lose relevance again, and I want to be Mr. 2026, okay? I want to be all
I like
over it
this.
like a
I like this,
rush.
George.
I through comfort and nostalgia, um, and a busy life, relaxed into a comfortable nostalgic blanket. But it's
I
time
like this. Did you
to
are you gonna play God of War though? Like the God of War Metrovania? Does that feel
oh,
like George?
got that by the way. Catch up, sit down, have a little 5 minutes to yourself. I'm all over that like a rash. I ought to talk
Okay.
about that really,
Okay.
but I don't know. Maybe you don't know what this George is like. This is fresh. This
I
is
like this,
like
George.
this
I
is the
like this.
countdown. It's
I'm
like
proud.
what everyone's like. Who's this wrestler? Break the wall down.
I like this, George. I like this. This is chaos. I like this. He feels modern. He feels fresh.
Yeah, got all the hot takes. God of War, hey, it's all right. It's got a little bit of lack of direction. I think it, as I said on the last episode, one of the best implementations of a CRT filter I have ever seen on a game. It's got this glow, it's got this kind of staggered repeat fashion to it. Underneath that, the game, yeah, it's okay.
This isn't what you wanted out of when you heard God of War Metrovania, is it? You didn't really want the
Listen,
prequel. You
I've
kind of wanted the
seen
blades there, right?
Look, I see it's had a bit of a kicking by many people, including Jaffe, and that's cool. But it's not a bad game.
Nah, for sure
I
not.
think that um, it's a bit frustrating its implementation of the controls a little bit would be my one sort of concern. I think actually underneath in the way it displays, I think it looks better with a CRT filter. I'm actually going to stand by. I think without it, it looks a bit Streets of Rage 4, a little bit clip arty floating on the screen. It's got some pretty nostalgic color palettes. And some of the creatures and design in there is nostalgic for like 16-bit, maybe 32-bit. But
I
yeah,
don't think this is a bad game. I think
it's
I
not a
think
bad game, but it does feel very nostalgic. I think that's been lost on people. It does feel very much like a game from the 80s, early 90s. It really does in the way it plays, in the way it jumps, the animations. I do think some people have kind of maybe not judged it. It's quite obviously turned up as a very retro game. It's even got a filter on it, even displayed in the trailers with filters as a thing that was this. Um,
I think a lot of people's problem is also like I think they narratively this isn't quite what they wanted, like this era of Kratos, which is I think like people are unfairly judging this for what it isn't and instead of what it actually is. You get what I mean? Like
yeah, but what I would say to them is if they're that heavy about the idea about what this should or shouldn't be in Kratos' lifetime, are those same people not aware of the litany of other games that we have had, either on PSP, PS2, or PS3, or PS4, and
it's a
technically
good point.
5 as well, where we've seen how he became God of War. We've seen how he betrayed before that. We've seen on the PSP games before. We got to the PS3 and got Ascension as well. What part of this timeline are you wanting us to cover exactly? Because I think we've pretty
It
much
feels
covered
well
all of
worn.
it, right? We've stomped a mud hole in that ass and walked it dry. So we can only go pre Kratos. And at this point, we can go to the point where he's a kid. We've got
Yeah.
nowhere else left to go. And to that end, telling that through the lens of the media of the time it would have had to have come out to be coherent to the time era of the gaming sphere that it would have had to launch in, i.e., like a 16-bit time era. To do the game in that era is actually quite brave. And I think it's quite an interesting way of framing a prequel game up like that to give it the age that it would have been if it would technically have come out before God of War on PS2, when, well, possibly it would have looked like this. Interesting. I
I'm
just,
just glad it's a smaller experience because I feel like a lot of people have been harking on, hey, we need smaller experiences in games. Games are getting a little too big and bulky as far as budget goes. This
uh,
doesn't feel like this is actually going to like tank anyone's studio if this game doesn't make $200 million, you know?
I agree.
Yeah. So, George, you wanted to talk about the news.
I do. I'm revved up and ready to hit the news.
All right.
I want to take you by the hand. I want to say we've been trawled the very darkest regions of the internet. I even spent a little bit of time on the dark web.
You naughty boy.
Yeah. Ordered myself an anarchist cookbook.
Oh, no.
And we batted those things aside and we found these very hottest, latest bits of news served up on a silver platter for your delectation. I say we've surfed the darkest areas of the internet. We've gone to the Holy Trinity, as always, because no one serves up news better than gaming's Catholic zone. It's Push Square, Nintendo Life, and Pure Xbox. Seb, I almost need like a choral hymn noise from you there, like a
Like the Gran Turismo noise?
more like sort of a hymn to his heavenly Father. Nailed it. Now,
Da 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 da. Da da da
oh, you got the
da.
halo. Fine.
Da 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 da.
Well,
That was the first
before
thing that came to my mind.
no, it we'll clip it. We'll make it work. Mumsy, have we got any money for? Oh, we'll leave it in. Okay, from Push Square.
So what is Push Square talking about today?
Push Square. Stephen Tailby, who is, I mean, he got it all at school, all the grief about having a tail. He ain't got a tail, but I tell you what, he tells a tale. That's why he's a journalist. Um, and this time he tells a quite a sad tale, as the headline reads: "Skate dev suffers layoffs to better support the game's long-term future. Full circle reshaping." Stephen tells us Full Circle, the studio behind PS5 and PS4's Skate, has announced a round of layoffs. The number of people affected has not been disclosed. The news comes via an update on the official website addressing the Skate community about the game's future. The statement says the studio is being restructured to better support Skate's long-term future and focus the team on the things that matter most to you and making those things great. It notes some roles will be impacted, stopping short of explaining how many people are being let go, is the official statement. The teammates affected are talented colleagues and friends who have helped build the foundation of Skate. Their creativity and dedication are deeply ingrained in what players experience today. The decision is not a reflection of their impact, and we're committed to supporting them through this transition. Work on the game is set to continue with Full Circle aiming to move fastly, listen more closely, and deliver consistently following this change. Many years after its initial release, Skates finally launched in early access state in September last year. It's free to play reboot of the fan favourite skateboarding series with large online open world city full of skate spots and challenges for you and other players to tackle together. While the gameplay is excellent and in line with what fans will expect from a skate game, many surrounding factors have come under scrutiny, including the visuals, the core structure, and the way unlocks and monetization have been handled. Full Circle has been steadily updating the game with new features, cosmetics, challenges, visual improvements, and seasonal events, but progress has been fairly slow. It's come under a lot of criticism from players. This perhaps reached breaking point very recently when Season 3 announcements were made. The tutorial island is being brought back and expanded, but access to the map It is strangely restrictive, going against an early promise to never block off map updates. Whether the game can bounce back following these layoffs remains to be seen. Seb, sad news down at skate developer Full Circle with some people being let go. Uh, I kind of want to talk to you about it through the sort of mindset of two things: laying off staff to help improve the game. I don't ever know when that ever worked. And then, secondly, obviously, through recent weeks and months, we've been talking about layoffs in the industry. Uh, that's a wider question. But I'd like your thoughts on it and where this is going because it doesn't feel like the sink has quite emptied on the layoffs, as far as I'm concerned, just yet.
All right, I'm gonna give you a list of games and tie this all together. Give me a Stone Cold Steve Austin what after I say a game, please, if you don't mind.
Consider it done.
All right. Transformers retro reactive.
What?
All right, there you go. Ben undisclosed Ben Studios game.
What?
Blue Point Games,
What?
undisclosed game. Yeah. Earthblade,
What?
Football Manager 25.
What?
Respawn Man and multiplayer FPS game.
What?
Evidently Battle Aces.
What?
And let's go with Xenomax Online new MMO style game.
What? Give me a hell yeah.
Yep. Skate. What? You want to know what why I listed all those games?
Yes.
They're all live service games that are not only having trouble but are basically going to shut down if they aren't already shut down.
Let me add a bit of amplifying information. The mood is in the room. Obviously, we had a quite successful state of play from Sony, but 4 days before, they just randomly shit out one sad Thursday afternoon the full video drop of Gorilla's Horizon MMO online hunter game. Now,
DOA. DOA.
as I said, the plot thickens. Uh, as I said at the time, it felt like that had been cut out of a state of play to save it. And I feel like one of those videos, probably that four play game or whatever it was called, is four play can't be right. They can't call a game that. Anyway, felt like that was inserted. The plot thickens because I was asked for feedback about what I thought about that online game, and I get sent an invite to a beta. They are pushing that game. They are desperate for that to work. But I think, as you say, the mood in the room is that these online games, they're just not wanted. The ecosystem is full with players that are already trapped in ecosystems they are married to. They're not coming to play this third rate tat.
No, it's so hard to be a new live service game. And I will say my heart goes out to all the people who are affected by job loss. I do hope every one of you lands on your feet if you're listening. I don't mean to be crass in that. I do think that this live service bubble has been absolutely bursting in
Oh,
these last couple of months, and it's getting worse to where I feel like,
the wave was landing on the beach of realization as
oh yeah.
Concorde was about to come out. When Concorde landed, that was the wave hitting, and from there, it's been game over. It's dead on arrival. I don't. Do you think Marathon can survive?
I don't, and I also, I don't think Marathon survives, but I also don't like, I don't think Bungie is going to let Marathon die a quick death. Like
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Concord, Concord, didn't have
Fell on its
the,
sword. It was like, yeah, I'm done.
yeah, and the studio wasn't quite Bungie as well, and for all the things that people talk about with Bungie, Destiny 2 has been one of those games that have hit so many ups and downs over the last like 10 years. It's not even funny. It's like every time you hear someone talk about Destiny 2, there's always like an asterisk around, oh, it's good, but okay. Now they made this type of mistake. Now they made this type of mistake. And that's like the player count is like it's gotten to a rough spot. And bringing this all back to the conversation at hand with Skate, Skate was in a tough position from the onset because how many live service games would you say have been successful since the pandemic started? I can only think of one new one, and I think that was Helldivers 2.
Yeah, it depends if you go back to there, like maybe around the circle of that time, but probably came out before. Time's a bit of a mystery to you. Helldivers, I think I would throw my bat in there and say that's been a success. The sad thing for that is it completely took Sony by surprise. They kind of fluttered that under the door, really, if you think about it within the effort they put into Concord and other titles that launched concurrently. They swept Helldivers under the floor. And then it hit, and then they went, "Oh, yeah, we're into this." Embarrassing.
Oh, okay,
Look,
there's two. There's two. I would say Arc Raiders and Helldivers. Only two that I could think of.
when did Warzone come out?
Call of Duty Warzone?
Hmm.
Oh. Hmm. Let's see. That was right when the pandemic started. So that was March 10th of
That's
2020.
what caused my hesitance, you see. Depends when you pull the line down. I would throw that into the mix because I think
So
it
there's
kind of
three.
breaks the Fortnite, headlock. Um, yeah, and I feel Arc Raiders has got definitely the momentum right now. I mean, a lot of people talking to me about that game, people you wouldn't expect as well, talking about it, being very into it, being very engaged with the online universe and the incremental levels and support and bits and bobs they add to it. I was going to say seasons, but I don't know if that's they play it out. I've not played it myself.
So
Um,
there's three real ones that I would probably say have come out since the pandemic that have been undisputed successes. Everything else you could probably see either dead, dying, or in a sad, pathetic state. High Guard, a game that came out not even like 7 weeks ago at this point, is just early curb stomped, absolutely curb stomped. It's to the point to where High Guard, I could see that was a game by Wildlight Entertainment. It was the last game that was announced during the Game Awards this past year. It was
yeah.
like the grand finale. It was the live service PvP raid shooter game that was kind of fantasy based. It was made by a lot of the same people who made um what was the what was the game that is kind of like the hero shooter type of game, not the same people who made Titanfall, and then they made the spinoff of Titanfall. What was
Oh, I don't know what the spin-off game is called.
you'd know it if you
Respawn?
heard it. No, you'd know it if you heard it. Let's see. It is Apex Legends.
Of course it is. When did that come
Yeah,
out?
19.
Okay.
So
It's
that
dead
was
though,
before
isn't
the
it? Let's face
pandemic.
it. It's
Yeah.
dead.
My point being is if you why come out with a live service game of Skate, knowing you seeing all these bodies, Knockout City, like all these bodies of live service games that don't make it. So you're like, why do that in the first place when you can take smaller dividends and just make
I tell you
a
why. Because money talks.
m money talks if you're still around to make it.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I'm not here to defend this at all, any of the actions, but we're thinking about relaunching Skate. Oh, yeah, but although we hear a lot of fans talk about it, we're not too sure if it's gonna sell. What else you thinking? Well, we could make it online. Ah. Well, what are you thinking? Why are you thinking online? Well, we can sell people skateboards and stuff. Yeah, all right, go for it. Because then if it wins, we win big time, and if it fails,
You just shut down a whole studio and basically.
Yeah, but I don't think you really you're not. We're thinking with heart and passion, and we're viewing
No,
these
no, I'm
people
I'm
as
thinking like
individuals.
logistic as well. Like you shut down a whole, not only shut down a whole studio, but you killed an IP. Like an IP, an IP is only like can only be tarnished so much before no one takes it seriously for a future installment.
Mate,
And so I'm like,
mate, Skate's fine.
Saints Row. I would argue Saints Row once upon a time would have been fine with shit installments, and now
Mm,
Saints Row is a dead IP.
Saints Row was
Ska
a dead IP the minute it woke up from the grave with its first iteration.
Saints Row was a successful IP for like the first four
You've never
installments.
played such a jelly mold looking ridiculous game. The
It's
minute someone
ridiculous, but
picked
it's
up a
sold.
double end purple dildo, that game lost any credibility it once ever had. And
It's
it had
sold though.
barely any. It
It's
sold.
sold.
How many
But so,
games did it sell as a percentage versus GTA 4?
that's that's comparing the yeah, that's like comparing soccer, mainline soccer versus the del like the what do y'all call it? Like the delegated zone or derelegated
The
zone?
relegated zone? No, I
Relegated
don't
zone.
think so. No, it's made
Oh
by a studio,
yes.
turned up, rocked up, acclaimed to be eating from the same bowl. Heck, said, I'll use one of your words and you're going to regret using it now. Inspired by, you know,
You can
made
be
it.
inspired by something, but could be completely in a different league than it. GTA not only had almost like a 10 to 15 year head start on a new IP, but it also had the cachet of some of the best games ever created. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're
So,
not
so
in the
Saints
same
Row
league
should have made
there.
sure they were absolutely awesome, but they were happy to release a 6 out of 10 game and make out that it was all part of their plan from the start. A bit like my idea with this show.
Yakuza is living off of 6 to 7 out of 10 games. Like that is
I,
if
I,
if
I,
that was your
I don't.
argument.
He signed the contract. He did, didn't he? Get HR. I'm having his guts out. You never come in here talking smack about. Only I can talk smack about Yakuza. Don't ever get him now. Yeah,
Yakuza, what do you call that then? If it's,
get
I'm like,
Helen. Get Helen from HR. Get her now.
but
You better simmer
here's the
down.
thing. I'm also talking bad about Yakuza, but talking good about it as well. Yakuza is a game series that I think like
Okay, Helen.
is
You're not needed.
no, I don't think Helen's needed yet, but it is one of those things to where like Yakuza does things in such a smart way because like they make something, they make it smaller scale, and then they push it out like 12 to 20 different times. Like they also know where their bread is buttered, and they don't go after the live service push. They're like, hey, we can come out with something that is I would probably say like par for our quality of games, and then we can also like keep pushing that out and not tarnish our name and not tarnish our RP. And we're fine with making 2 million to $3 million per unit. You know, it's a success story for them. And what I'm saying
I
is
think they're close. They're very close. They're within a hair's whisker of walking that IP into the bin.
their strategy's working though right now. But if you see a game like Skate isn't. I think you're overinflating Skate's value as an IP, first of all. And then second of all, I don't
Oh,
I think
I
like
don't think you we in the same bathrooms as I do. Everyone loves a bit of skate.
I think Tony Hawk was a much bigger IP than Skate. I don't
But skate had the chops.
it had the chops, but we're comparing Tony Hawk was GTA versus Skate was Saints Row.
Hey, do you want to hear a secret?
What's up?
Over on Nintendo Live, there's a rumor. Liam Doolin, he's got a glass out, right?
Okay, gotcha.
He used an empty glass and he put it to the wall of his bed sit. Little did he know, next door was some bigwigs from Sony. So he's got this story. Sony
Okay, gotcha.
apparently has Gran Turismo running on the Switch too. Just don't expect to ever see it. We don't do leaks and we don't do rumors here on the UCP, but we are today. PlayStation's Gran Turismo 7 has apparently been leaked to the Switch 2 in a wild new rumor, but it doesn't necessarily mean what you might be thinking. This information comes from journalist Jeff Grubb, who recently responded to a fan on his show asking a question about the real driving simulator and the possibility of it racing to another platform. While there was a fair amount of speculation on Grubb's end about other Sony franchises during this segment, in terms of Gran Turismo, he claims actually heard about a Switch 2 version, is his actual words. This is Jeff Grubb's quote. I heard recently that Gran Turismo was running on the Switch 2. I don't think it's going to come to the Switch 2. I just heard they've got it running on it. So why would Sony bother to get the game running like this and running on the Switch 2 but not even consider a release? One popular theory seems to be it's testing the waters as rumors circulate about the company potentially releasing a new PlayStation handheld. In other words, this could be research and development and nothing more. Gaming enthusiasts online have pointed out how companies over the years got titles up and running on certain platforms but never went any further. If this is more than a rumor, it wouldn't necessarily be the first time we've heard something like this. Um, Switch 2, Push Square added a little note to this Holy Trinity article, may I add. And they note, and I was talking about this with RGT only a week ago. So you say I'm not on the white hot edgy gaming, Seb. You just don't know how close to it I am. When you're that close to the sun, you just don't know what anything else looks like anymore.
What do you think about all this, George?
Hang on, let me finish.
Okay,
Because
gotcha.
the Switch 2, as I've much argued, is hamstrung by the fact it has no analog triggers, meaning it's barely usable for driving games. They are just buttons, Seb. There is no featherable ability at all. So you have to go bit, 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 bit to drive down the road without going crazy.
Do they? So they don't curve, like, remind me, they don't like curve in the back or anything?
Oh, they curve in the back, but
Okay.
that plastic facade just presses onto a button rather than giving you a variable trigger. On a
Oh, okay, I get what
PlayStation
you
or
mean now.
Xbox, you just press it, you can have 10% power, you can have 20% power, you can have 30, 40, all the
Ah,
way through to 100. On the Switch, it's either on or it's off, making driving games an absolute nightmare. So, yeah, if they brought it there, that would be hell in a handbasket.
I
Seb,
suppose you don't have like a speed barometer in Mario Kart or Kirby Air Riders either. It's just go, right?
it is literally just go and
Yeah.
drift.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, question for you. We live in an era where every manufacturer has been sent by the other manufacturer of video game consoles one of their development kits. And with their Switch 2 development kit, the boys at Polyphony were sat around and they went, we're never going to use that. No, we're not. What we're going to do with it? See if you can. I want to play Switch. I want to play Gran Turismo in the bath. And I don't want to do it on the pool. I want to do it on the Switch too. Yeah, we got you, boss. We'll sort it.
To be fair, they were probably given the whole like development kit for the Horizon Lego game and other and
Oh, a
some
myriad of
ML,
games,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
MLB the show.
MLB.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Minecraft boys have obviously got a Switch 2 development kit, a Switch 1 development kit, PS4 development kit, must have a
Yeah, yeah,
PS3
for sure.
development kit, must have a PS5 development kit, must have a Pro development kit. Um, Sony and Nintendo have both got Series S and X's, no doubt, as well. So,
They're just not using them.
y-
They're just not using them. But I
are
digress.
we being unfair? 'Cause we've got a bit of Xbox news coming up, and they've got a new boss over there, and well, we'll get to that.
Well, we will. But okay, so opinion on this. I think this is a nothing burger.
Absolutely.
Like I think yeah.
Do you know why
For
it's
one,
here?
why is that?
It's here. Brum, brum, brum. It's a vehicle to allow me to talk to you about the state of the industry. And the state of the industry, exclusives. Do they matter
Okay.
or don't they matter? And if they do matter, Is it more important to get them out on other systems, or is it more important to keep them where they are and use them to make them the reason to buy a system?
Option two, Your Honor. Option two.
It's better to keep your exclusives.
Keep them where they're at.
Okay, so
It's the only thing keeping Nintendo alive at this point.
exactly. But with Microsoft adopting the strategy of anything everywhere all at once, something that you're a big advocate of. Obviously, your phone's an Xbox now, I don't know, your fridge is an Xbox now, your shoe cleaning kit from your aunt and uncle Smith is an Xbox now. Um,
I'm a
is
big
it
advocate of like play anywhere. I'm not a big advocate of putting your exclusives on other consoles.
right? Okay, but Xbox are doing that, and they're making money doing it. Surely the others are now thinking we could do that. Now,
I
one
don't think
more.
they are.
Okay, because the thing I see it as this now, Sony and Nintendo weathered the storm to some regard. You know, factor in the news that Sony have sold off their TV panel division right now, so they're kind of all in on entertainment and nothing else. Their strategy is solely refocused down on PlayStation and their entertainments division, anime, etc., movies. All right, they're nowhere else right now. So they're sat there, they weathered the storm. Now they get the benefit of all Xbox's big games on their platform. But Xbox has lost that ability. Now I'm sure gamers will frame it up as though Xbox are more fan dedicated, they're more willing, they're more, willing to share their games, aren't they a good company? But good companies don't survive, do they?
No, also I'm like, it's not because they're a good company. They also have shareholders, and shareholders said make more money immediately. Like, we want more money now, more so than we want a long-term vision of riding a ship around. They're like, hey, go out and put that game that's 5 to 6 years old on the other consoles if you can make it. If they can get Game Pass on the other two devices, they absolutely would. But yeah, I don't think this is
I actually thought we'd have seen it on Switch by now.
I don't. Nintendo wants and lives primarily through that eShop. And with what 30% of the 30 to 40% of the games are that are already on
Mate,
the eShop.
if that's where don't get me revved up about the Switch eShop, fella. Just don't do it.
It's a
I
garbage
will
place, but
fight you to death. That is the stinkiest. You go in the curated sections, actually very nice. Some interesting things going on. A curated section of games chosen just for you based on your games you've played and desires you seem to express. That bit's cool. The rest of it, absolutely awful. The content curation, the Nintendo seal of quality used to stand for something. Now it stands for mobile game, force fed to you like foie gras at 2.49. Absolute shit. I've done.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. But like, I you get no arguments for me, but like there are certain games that Nintendo does not, will not, and cannot want on a screen like streaming service that's available on their platform when they can and will and are notorious for double dipping on old ass video games.
Oh
And
yeah.
because their fans are like pigs in a slop, and they'll be like, oh, I get to play a 9-year-old video game and get charged full price for it again.
Well, while you were busy in the indie trough last week, obviously the news broke about Pokemon Fire Red and Green to even more
God, that
evidence.
pissed me off.
And I've been waiting for maybe Blue just to drop on the Game Boy Online section so I can feel like I'm getting something for my Nintendo Online money. Nah.
You're paying for that dribble.
We're going to give you the DS ones on purpose just so we know that we haven't got an emulator on that one so we can hide behind the facade of it not being workable. Like absolute snakes.
And then they're
Thing
gonna
is,
charge you
I got to
$20 for
admire him
red
for it, right?
and green.
They're robbing me, but at least he had the decency to put a mask on, Seb.
Does that make you feel good about it? I'm like, you're still getting robbed.
Yeah,
It,
it makes you feel better that you know it's not someone that you know and like. I know and like Nintendo. I wouldn't like to think they're robbing me. So at least they turn up and hide under the guise of not being able to put it online for you, so you got to buy it. Like, all right, Ninty, fair enough. If they told me the truth, I'd be furious.
That is craziness to
And the
me. It's
truth is, I
like
just need more cash, so give it to me. And while you're
that
here,
that's what this was.
why don't you pick up a Switch dock for you too, that so you can play Virtual Boy games that you also need the online subscription for, another piece of useless tat that you might want for your gamer collection. How's your relationship with your wife going? Well, it's on edge because I keep picking up all this garbage you sell to me, Nintendo. Oh, really? Sorry about that. Would you like the Virtual Boy? Well, I'm struggling to say no at this point.
I'm baffled because
Are you getting
like
a Virtual Boy?
I wouldn't. No, there's nothing about me that wants to get a Virtual Boy. I wouldn't
You
have.
wouldn't wear it in downtown sort of Dallas, like a pair of shades?
No,
You wouldn't want to look
no.
like one of the Apple sort of AI crew,
I
like the
think
Apple Vision or
I
whatever
think
it's
like the
called.
modern AI people would laugh at me first of all, like with the modern people who are wearing like Meta Quest and stuff like that. They're like he's gonna blind himself wearing that ugly
They'd
device.
be like respect. If you
He
rocked up
probably
with that, they'd be like, "Wow, look at this dude. He's in 2050. We're in 2026."
no, it's absolutely crazy. No, I don't have any. I don't have any like nostalgia for those type of things, so I also don't have any pull for it. So a Pokemon I do have nostalgia for. Like I loved Fire Red and Leaf Green. I'm not paying $20 for it, and I'm also like, there's so many allegedly other ways of playing that game that I know
Oh
that they
yeah.
just put. I know that they just gave an emulator out to basically like port this game over to the Switch, and I'm like, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting because I'm like, you have a subscription plan and that people pay for that you could have put this on for your loyal fans who basically
That's
eat your slop.
that's the tang I don't like. When they could have given and hey, don't look at it through. And this is what pisses me off with modern companies, not just video game companies. Think how if they'd have used it as a method to sell Nintendo online subscriptions, they would have made way more bank than they would have selling these individually.
I think it's also worse they basically made it $20 a pop for each language. Something that used to just come with the game. I'm like, come with a game like this.
Hey,
You saw
nothing will
like
teach you English quicker than Nintendo's greed, Seb. Let's look at it that way.
God, I'm not a Nintendo person, but at all. But it's things like this that make me
I want to
entrenched
see
in
you
my.
dressed up in like a Mario or Luigi fancy dress costume.
I would
Which
not.
Nintendo character do you see yourself most resonating with?
Um, Ness because he never gets any love by Nintendo either. He gets dog walked by Nintendo as well.
What the hell is Ness?
Earthbound.
Oh my God.
He never gets any love
Who do
from
you want love
Nintendo.
from? You don't get any love from me. How dare you?
Oh no, Nintendo
How
is
dare you?
Ness is so bad right now that the only way he actually gets put on modern consoles is if he shows up in a Smash Brothers game. He
Before
has to
you're
hope for.
buried 6 foot under the ground, that kid will get hoard out.
You think so?
Oh, it'll be a massively online multiplayer game.
Oh, that's so sad.
Tell me
That's
I'm
so
wrong.
sad. I don't think you're wrong.
He's going to be woke
It
up from the slab for one reason and one reason only. Daddy wants more cash.
it shocked me though, because like it feels like him and Warligi are destined to be like supporting characters for like all their games. By the way, you know, the Pokemon ZA game that just came out.
Hmm.
Do you remember we talked about Yakuza? Yakuza was it Kiwami 2?
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking at a comparison side by side of a guy nearby playing both games, right? He had him on two screens and he was showing me he was just like, this is why Pokemon ZA pisses me off. And I laughed because I was just like, I didn't know where he was going. I couldn't find the correlation between those. There are more NPCs walking around in that Yakuza game from 20 years ago than there are in a modern day Pokemon game on a modern day console. And I was baffled by this.
City NPCs have always been a gripe. Let's face it, going all the way back to like Oblivion or Morrowind or something like that, it's always been an issue. You go in these massive cities, there's no one. And you can either have faceless no ones, or you can have no ones that have got a little bit of flesh. But it looks like the Pokemon game just didn't bother.
No, they didn't bother. But no, I do think we're getting better at that as far as like open world games like populating their areas a lot. Even like I give Ubisoft like hell sometimes. I think they're getting better at populating their open world games.
Yeah, it, they're still the West world of like games, though. You know, the whole NPC thing is like there's nothing solid in there. It's all just generated walk around the corner drivel. There's nothing.
Of substance. I get what you mean, but at least you can look at those games and be like, "Oh, my console is being powered on for apparent reason." Like there should be no reason why any Pokemon game shouldn't run at 90 FPS at this point because there's nothing there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could basically have the Game Boy game emulated and running in the background, and then just generate 3D graphics on the screen to represent something else. Hey, listen, I'm not a developer. I don't pretend to know. But guess what? Someone was
What's up?
able to sit down the boss of Xbox and ask them some questions.
Ah, Miss Asha.
Fraser Gilbert got the lowdown and he slapped it on the internet over on Pure Xbox. That's right. That is the final trifecta of the Holy Trinity. Anyway, he writes, ever since Asher Sharma was announced on the new X as the new Xbox boss last Friday, there's been speculation about whether exclusive games would could become part of Xbox strategy in the future once again. And she's at least partially addressed this in an interview with Windows Central. Let's cut to her quote. When asked what Art Sharma thought about the idea of returning to exclusive games, she said, right now I need to learn candidly about the why of these decisions. What were we optimizing for and what the data says about the Xbox strategy today? That's the honest answer. I'm looking at lifetime value, not just what happened in a previous moment or in short-term efficiency and things like that. That's the plan until it's not the plan. Ultimately, it sounds like there's a slight chance of exclusives becoming more prominent in Xbox future, but the new Xbox boss doesn't really care or have any. No, I made that bit up. She doesn't really have any answers right now. It's simply too early to make judgments. What's refreshing is that she's keen to look at the bigger picture, hopefully, and analyze every single element of the current strategy, see what's working and isn't. And although there's every chance that exclusives won't be part of the strategy going forward, they're at least factored into initial analysis as the head of Xbox. Wow. Um, there's a lot going on there. It's obviously probably way too early days for her to comment on the outgoing contingent's strategy. But they've certainly applied what looks like from the outside, Seb, as a little bit of scorched earth policy. She's rocked up at Xbox inheriting a we've sold all the exclusives to everybody. We've pretty much told everyone, although we're making a new Xbox, that we're not really doing that anymore because you can play us on a fridge. The community is fractured, and people just are buying Switches and PlayStations because they can play our games there. It's not a great first day for her, is it?
It's an unfair first day for her because I'm like to be fair, if she's inheriting a shit show from a regime like the last two regimes that haven't been righted yet. But to be fair, I also think like we won't unless she cuts studios within the next like 8 to 9 months, we won't see anything that she's impacting for the next year at this
Totally
point.
agree. At the earliest, if you think about
Yeah.
lead times and incubation times and strategy switches, we've got to at least get to the next financial year. So she's kind of picked this one up at the back end of one and is going to have to implement their strategy for the full year before she can make a change.
Yeah,
It's
and
embarrassing.
to her like luck and fortunate circumstances, she's inheriting a great year to start off with if we're looking at like potential Xbox quality here with Fable, Gears of War, Halo, um
I guess she
and
does have the inverse chance to come in and look like an absolute hero. She saved
yeah,
Xbox.
oh yeah, Gears of War, Fable, Horizon, and Gears of War, Halo, Fable, Horizon, and what's the other one? There's the other the
Starfield,
God no, I'm talking about like the big four right now. Gears of War, Halo, Forza, and
Fable,
Fable. Yeah.
Blinks the
So
Time Sweeper.
yeah, no, all four of those games are allegedly coming out this year. So I'm like, she gets to look like she is basically killing it, absolutely killing it out of the
Question
gate.
for you, if I may.
Hmm.
Xbox have gone multi-format, much like your dealer giving you a hit for free. Okay?
Okay.
Everyone on the other formats have had a little go on all these games. Which one would you, as boss of
PlayStation PC
Xbox,
specifically though, because
tomorrow
I don't.
turn back to an exclusive to get those PlayStation and PC players running back to you with their legs on to get a brand new Xbox console and this game? Which one is it?
Fable and Horizon easily. Fable and Horizon. I'm like Fable and Horizon are the two games to where I'm like, okay, Fable specifically, you need a game that isn't. There's nothing like it else on the market on any other platform, especially on PlayStation, you would have some sort of like insinuation of like, if I want this specific experience, I have to go here. And then Horizon, on the other hand, you gave all the people that smack for free. Like that smack for, hey, I got you in the door. Now, if you
That's
want the upgraded version, you gotta come here.
that's the only part of the strategy that's got any sense. Now, if she was able to execute a turn while sticking to some form of multi-platform strategy that she's kind of already locked into, but turn one of the like Forza Horizon has sold absolutely gangbusters everywhere, right?
That's the one if you really want I think if you can sell any sort of long-term investment to any stockholders, because most stockholders want mostly like instant returns, you could sell them on, hey, we gave them this game. We gave them this game. Now we are going to get a little bit of return on our console sales if you let me make this exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be an overnight success thing, but this is how we get people
But
in the door.
that's a gamble based on that game hitting.
Yeah, but I think that's the biggest, safest. This is going to be, as long as it delivers the same thing as the last two, 8 out of 10 game you could possibly get. You
Yeah.
know, like it's the safest one. I'm like, because you don't have to do anything. You just have to make the cars go and copy and paste everything that was in the last game into this one, except make it Tokyo, and you win. It's just it's the easiest win. It's like it's almost like Mario Odyssey, Mario 2, Mario, and any Mario game. You just have to smack that man's face on the game, and it's going to sell. You know?
Is Forza Horizon that established now that it's big enough to weather storms like that?
It's the biggest racing game in the world right now. So, and it's like the only arcadey racing game of its time. Now that Need for Speed, Burnout, and all those have died,
Yeah,
it's
it did
still a
weather that
racing
storm.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's still a racing game, so there's still a plateau. There is still a ceiling. But if there's no other racing game on the face of the planet right now that has a higher ceiling than it,
agreed. And
I'm like,
that's the one I would flip. I don't think Halo's got the reach anymore. There's a joke for you. I don't think Gears has necessarily got the reach anymore. I think the experiments to bring it over could be argued are mildly successful, but I mean, you
mm,
could argue you flip them back to being exclusive because what are you losing? But at the same token, what are you winning?
they're IP in enough to stab. I don't think. If we're
It
really just
was
being
it
honest,
was at one point, but it's
yeah, but
not.
that was 15 years ago. I wouldn't even
Well,
say during the Xbox One generation it was enough.
no, agreed. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the news, Seb.
Yeah.
It's been an eventful journey. I want to do a bit of housekeeping before we launch into thanking our wonderful supporters. As we said at the top of the show, you're probably watching this now on a Sunday. You're like sat there in your jimmer jams, you got your cereals out, you're enjoying a little bit your grown men talking about children's toys. I still don't know to this day why you need a video of us doing that. It's embarrassing enough doing it on audio. You make me
Gotta see
sit
the
down.
pretty faces, George. Gotta see the
What?
pretty faces.
I just realised I've been darkness the whole episode. There you go. You got to put the effort into the production value, Seb. I think that's what makes us a hallmark of quality, if nothing else. So thank you for sitting and watching me in darkness for 2 hours, probably. Anyway,
Now,
I get bifurcated, Seb, because I must say, I'm actually saying that you're now watching this video on a Sunday. We were trying to give you a little bit of content every day, so we were having the show launching on a Sunday, ready for Monday, give you flashback on a Tuesday, give you the video on a Wednesday. No, you didn't want that. George, stop messing about. Give us the audio, give us the video on a Sunday, ready for Monday, and then we'll have Flashy B on a Tuesday. We want to get fat. Fine. Have all your sweets before your main course. I don't mind. All right? We've listened. We're changing. We're giving you what you want. That does mean we are not putting out an audio show on YouTube because what's the point? But you will find the audio show everywhere else. And I think YouTube Music would probably let you listen to the show because it's a podcast anyway. So no danger. Um, Other bit of news, make sure you're checking out the website. Loads of things changing there. You'll find it by just typing it into Google now. We've paid the monies, we've taken our chances, we've made it work. Thank you to Captain Scarlet. The show is free, Seb. It'll always be free. The extra show that we now produce is also free. That's Flashback. That's available everywhere in audio only, but it's a look back on a day and a date in gaming history through the medium of historic gaming magazines. If you miss the Ray, that's where he lives. All right, we've got to keep him away from Seb because there's been rumours of those two having a little bit of a love-in. And because Seb is only mortal and Sting is a god, Seb's 3 months pregnant with Sting's kid. Fact.
there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Attorneys have been called. Child support has been. It's a fight for it.
So we've got a lot of
We
bills
don't
coming
know.
into the CP,
We don't know
but
where to send the invoice.
we just don't even know where to send any checks or invoices, but we're trying. And the bizarre thing is, with all that going on, the show's still free. It'll always be free. But if you want to, you can get on board. A link in the show description will take you there. And from as little as $3 a month, you can get your name read out in the show. I've got a deal going on at the minute. I've said to RGT, sit down, mate. If they join now from as little $3, as soon as they join, we're going to send them a t-shirt. He said, that's crazy. I said, shut up. I'm doing it. That's what we're doing. You can go all the way up to $10, and there's various incremental things along the way. Yearly artwork that will send you, t-shirts, etc. So get stuck in, get fat, dumb, and happy. But Seb, the list which exists now simultaneously on our host Discord chat is ready. Now, we've conquered our fear of the Zangief. Did you know that?
No, no. What happened?
Well, if we do it now, we don't need to be scared of it.
Who's ever scared to embrace the Zangief?
Well, a few episodes while you weren't around, things got, I think you were involved in a couple of them, things got a bit dark.
Oh man.
And the Zangief took on a little bit of a malevolent edge, I would say. So a couple of weeks ago, I just decided to front up in the street and take it head on. I just fat Zangief all over the place. I just did it, boom. RGT was using fat Zangief as a weapon. He'd weaponized it and he was bullying me.
Like a club to the head.
Yeah, exactly. Be like if he turned round too quick in the showers without his towel on.
Just dead. Just dead.
The
Just
literal
dead.
whiplash G-force of that little thing slapping you around the face would probably knock a couple of your teeth out. Well, I'll tell you what then. Let me get stuck straight in because we've got to thank these people because they do support us and we are very grateful. So I'm going to start, and you're here, so it'll be a little bit of a cleaner run through, much to
Okay,
everyone's
go ahead.
disappointment, probably. I'm going to say thank you to the wonderful Captain Scarlet, the man behind our ever emerging and improving and beautiful looking website. Thank you to you, sir.
Thank you, Rich Road. Did I get the right list? I think it's or
You
Retro
did.
Ed.
Yes, retro ed.
They
But
y'all don't space it out between the
hey,
retro
look,
and the ed.
look,
So I was like,
listen.
Retro Ed.
I like it. Retroed. He better
Retro
get on
Ed.
board. Maybe that was his original intention, and we've been reading it wrong a little bit, like Boba 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 Bobber. That means I get to thank the One Man George fan club. It's the Carlos, the one man army. Who needs friends when you've got big boys like that on your arm?
Film returns.
Which means I get to thank Trestles New York and Silver Hook Electrical Contact Cleaner. Thank you.
Roast Space Monk.
Amazing. That means I get to say Buongiorno, Bada Bingster. Come stai. Hmm.
Tingle Den.
I get to thank one of the sheriffs of the Discord. He's tore in on what looks like a pit pony, but it doesn't matter because as he steps off, he's more man than any of us. It's one of the Winchester boys. It's Digital Monkery.
Bud.
Awesome. Well, parachuting in from 50,000 feet. He didn't pull his canopy until he at least hit 125 feet above the ground. He's not messing. It's Boba going brown in your town. He's doing a tour. Tickets available on the Unofficial Controller Podcast website. Book today for Skegness Embassy Theatre in July. For such a strong man, that was actually quite. He doesn't need a big noise. A man who doesn't also need a big noise. He is possibly the most beautiful man to ever exist. He's more John Lennon than John Lennon. In fact, he beat John Lennon in a John Lennon lookalike competition. It's the one and only Harvey Retro.
Mrs. Emma Sharp.
Beautiful, which means I get to thank the immortal, now so woven into the show lore. It's Greg. It's nowhere near Berlin.
Mumsy!
Which means I get to thank the RGT fan club for their loyal dedication to supporting the show.
Pete Brocklehurst.
I lick one side of Billy's face. I like him. I flip his head 180. I lick the other side. I don't like him. It's Billy Marmite.
Frat Zen.
I'll be honest with you. Now I know. Now I know what it felt like to get a frontline ticket to your honeymoon evening. And I tell you what, it was not a thing I want to forget anytime soon. It was beautiful. Four times in one night. This guy's a showstopper, non-stopper, party popper. Seb Bopper, let's talk about. Thank you to everyone that's supports us. Thank you for that. Um, Seb, I think
Yes.
we've talked a lot of things, but the only question, and there is only one single question left on the show. What you hoping to play?
Hmm. Georgia's is a lot, but it's Steam Next Fest right now, so I've been going around playing some really cool demos during this time, and that's just really kind of what I've been doing right now. So it's really not just one, one concise vision. It's kind of like a whole bunch of
Many
different
years
kind of
ago, there
games.
was an advert in the UK that was like, "Why take two bottles into the shower so you can take one? Wash and go, shampoo and conditioner." The very cutting edge of
Yeah.
hair treatment and cleaning products. If you could take one game into the what you hoping to play shower, you've got to grab one and go. Which one is
Oh.
it? Put your indie balls on the
Mm.
line.
Mm.
Show me your indie fortitude.
I'm gonna be talking about again. No, I'll be talking about that game when it comes out. Um, George, I'm gonna ask you what you're hoping to play, and then I'm gonna come back to me because
Okay, well, let me
it's
tell
hard
you
to
what
choose
I'm
between
hoping
just the
to
one.
play. I'm hoping to play for some reason. I have got into the idea of playing some sort of strange tie-up between Hoarders and Farming Simulator, a game that's rapidly approaching 10 years old, made for a system that Moses taught Cain and Abel how to read with. Don't let that bother you. There'll be a lot more Star Trek Voyager. I'm getting quite keen on the idea of picking up Cairn, and I hope to do that this weekend. And I'll report back, and I'll let Seb know that I got a bit higher than him, but probably not much.
Probably a
Um,
lot.
and the other game I'm toying with, mainly just to trigger Seb after being such a good boy, is I need to add in a firecracker to the top 10 game of the year list, Seb. And I think that firecracker needs to be Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition for the
God
Switch 2.
no. God no. No, the worst way to play it. No.
The very best way, because I can play that on the pooper with no Wi-Fi.
Oh God, do you have to?
A shooter on the pooper. It's got to be Fallout 4.
Is that a game you really want to play again? Did you like it that much the first time around that you're like, I'm nostalgic for Fallout 4?
Let me hit you with one of my favorite lines. I'm ready to be hurt again.
Who's doing the hurting? Like dog meat or
Bethesda.
I was just like, it wasn't great. It wasn't like it was like, oh, that's an all-time banger Bethesda game.
Yeah, but it sets us up because we're going to get remakes of 3 and remakes of New Vegas, and they'll also get ported to the Switch. We're also going to get Oblivion, the remake, ported to Switch. So, I don't know,
You
it feels
can play Oblivion now.
on PlayStation.
Yeah, and you have a portal.
Yeah, but someone sneezes near the router and, your
I was
horse
like,
armor
what?
falls
Why'd
off.
you get this thing if you know your internet wasn't gonna hang up for it?
The weird thing is, it was working when I was away, but in my own
Hmm.
house, it's not working.
Hmm.
Now, if I want to stream a game from just PlayStation's premium suite of games, it'll play that flawlessly, no issues. But if I want to stream from the PlayStation effectively in the same room as me, it feels like I'm playing through Vaseline.
Oh, you'll have Vaseline over there. That's curious.
Oh, well, what do you use it for?
No, I mean we have Vaseline here. I was just amazed because sometimes you tell me a product and I'm like I've never heard of that in my life. Like
But
Marmite,
there's a different what is Vaseline's main use in the US?
oh, it has a whole bunch, but like ashiness, like skin irritation, like slicking something up, like as in like an elbow or maybe lips.
Anything else?
Let me see. What else can Vaseline be used for? That's usually what I hear though. It's like lip balm, elbow shining, lotions, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But nothing like too out of the ordinary, I don't think. Oh, I guess people can like lube some pipes or something, but I think there's specific pipe lube. I'm not sure though. I'm not a plumber. But
What
are
sort
you
of
Resident?
pipes are you thinking about, Seb? Is that a euphemism for something, or are you saying that you would actually?
Oh, it could have been, but no, I was actually being like genuine. I was like saying like maybe like like bathroom pipes or something like that, but I
Are
have
we?
no
What is
idea.
that a euphemism for something?
Absolutely not. Are you a Resident Evil person? Because like a Resident Evil comes out basically today at this point. Is
I've
that something you're gonna be
struggled
interested
with
in?
what this last trilogy of games I've struggled with. I can appreciate seven, eight, and now nine. I really can, and I like what I've played, but I've never stuck with any of them. I God knows what reason. The previous games, I love them, but I say I love them. Four I like a lot. PS2 original, if you please. Five, hey, yeah, it's okay. Six. It's not for me. Seven, amazing, great return to form. I guess I fell off that because I was playing it mostly in PSVR 1, and even on there, it's a bit too scary.
I'm a chicken, so I'm not playing any horror
You
centric
play that
games.
flat screen, totally different game. I just walked
Hmm.
through loads of it. I got way past the bit I was doing in VR and then just dropped off of it. You play it in VR, dude, you're terrified of a fly. If that guy comes through the wall, you take the headset off. It's like, that's too much. That's just way too much.
The reason why I
Um,
asked because like it's now the quintessential like best game of the Switch 2, like based on review scores and such like that. So I'm trying to figure out like because Switch 2 hasn't really had a lot of great games in its
no,
library
I
that I
think
would.
like while the Switch 2's in this era where it can get ports that are of merchantable quality, we're not talking Switcher 3 here, dude. We're talking like games that for the most part hold up and are playable. We're not
Yeah, for
talking
sure.
the level of graphical fidelity compromise that we were 10 years ago. We're just not. Now, while they've got that window of operational capability, I suggest they stomp it dry. So get all those ports over because it's not going to be very long before there's a Digital Foundry video where two versions look incredible and then your version looks like Lego.
Yeah,
So
I think it'll
while
be
those
by
three look,
November at this point.
it may well be, but while you can make hay while the sun shines and steal the same advertising thunder that's normally used by everybody else, you might as well have your little Switch 2 logo at the bottom of the Capcom advert for Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, might as well. I hear it runs great on it.
Hey, there's been in these early crossover games, the amount of compromise that's been on the table for the Switch 2 is far, far, far reduced compared to the compromise levels we were seeing even out the gates with the Switch 1. So,
Yeah,
happy
kind
days.
of. It really depends on the game. Elden Ring does not run great on that thing.
Whoever expected it to. Hey, do you know what? In 6 months' time, let's check back because I'm sure there'll be some sort of an update. So, answer my question, Seb. You get to take
Okay.
one singular bottle into the shower. What are you shampooing your fine barnet with this evening?
Uh, Oddly enough, maybe Romeo is a dead man, I guess. It's not a game I'm like
I want to
super
talk to you
jazzed.
about that because the reason why I want to talk to you about it is I heard you boys talking about this on an episode I wasn't on.
Hmm.
And you were waxing lyrical. You appeared out of thin air like an indie genie mid-episode and started to wax lyrical about this game, Romeo Must Die. And I thought, okay, it's piqued my interest. I was driving. I thought, do you know what? All right, all right, all right then, boyo. I'll look into this. So when I got where I was getting, I Googled it. Let me ask you this question. Have Naughty Dog dropped a clanger by not getting Intergalactic Heretic Prophecy out sooner than it is? Because to me, Romeo Must Die's combat with that big sword looks exactly like what they were going for in that game, and I do believe been beaten to the quick by this indie game in terms of what their combat offering was going to be.
Yeah, it's we're talking about major leagues versus minor leagues as well, though. You know what I'm talking
We
about?
are,
I'm
but it
like,
looks like they both had the same idea simultaneously and swung. Romeo Must Die has obviously come out earlier. It's got a really interesting style, as has Naughty Dog, but a lot more conventional down the route of what they'd go through with their mocap storytelling. But the very small gameplay sections we've seen of Intergalactic Heretic Prophecy look to me very similar to what this game is doing.
A little bit, but I would probably say Romeo's a Dead Man is more akin to um what's the game where you're playing against all the zombies and you're in a mall.
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising-ish to me. So I'm like it feels like what is that? It feels like Dead Rising sort of meets
Which Dead
uh
Rising? One or
I would probably
two?
say like more like two and three
Yeah.
because I it sort of like feels like that, but meets that sort of like that pseudo 51 art style that they're known for with their games. So I'm like, it doesn't quite feel quite the same. It's like I would probably say Intergalactic's going to be safe because unfortunately, I do think by the time Intergalactic comes around, a lot of people are going to forget about this game to begin with because there's
Oh, I
just
reckon it's going to be a PS5 swan song by the time it gets here.
I mean, I don't. Would argue it might be the like the first hybrid between the two
I,
mainline consoles.
yeah, I
So
think
yeah,
so. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't. Romeo's a Dead Man's an okay game. I don't think it's like a 10 out of 10. I think this is the Star Wars Outlaws of this first quarter. To where
Okay.
I'm not disrespecting Star Wars Outlaws when I say this. I think Star Wars Outlaws is a good perfectly serviceable game for the fans that it's going for. Anybody else, I think the game is it's obviously going to show its downfalls and pitfalls. I don't.
My only question to you then is, who else is buying that game other than the people it was designed for? It's a
That's
bit
it.
like your Indiana Jones argument. And I totally agree with it. When that was announced, I was like getting a bit frothy, and you quite rightly said, "Who's buying that?" Like the Gen X audience that would even consider buying that game is
That's
getting
it.
smaller and smaller. This might be the best time for Star Wars and indie games going forward. They may not even have the clout to put a game out. I'm excited by that Star Wars Galactic Racer, by the way, Seb.
I think that's going to be a perfectly good 6 out of 10, and I think I'm excited to experience that.
I am looking. Do you know what gets me excited about that? The fact that in that last gameplay trailer, they aired those sort of Star Wars Outlaws-esque story components that kind of pin what looks like the season mode together. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm all in, boys. Remortgage the house, get me the director's cut edition.
Oh
I want
no.
a speeder on
Oh
a
no.
plastic plinth.
Oh
I
no.
want a replica helmet of the guy on a plinth. I want
I
a
I
steel book
hope
with
I'm wrong.
LEDs in it. I want the lot.
I hope I'm wrong, but it feels like a Star Wars version of like the racing from Jack 3. And
How dare you?
I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm kind of getting the vibes from. I'm getting more of that than I am anything else. But I hope that this game lives up to the hype. But I also feel like, unfortunately, I hope this isn't a case to where we're really going to see how big the Star Wars name is as opposed to the quality of the game. Because what I mean by that is like I think like there was a ceiling, like I was telling you, for Indiana Jones in 2025, 2024. I
Yeah.
think there's a ceiling now, especially with how much damage has been done to the IP for
I
Star
think
Wars.
this if this came out and could be afforded a price point of like 49.99 or less, I think it will go gangbusters. I think there's enough people interested in future racing series, is like Wipeout, F-Zero, etc., etc. Fast Fusion, I think, is another one of those ones that's done recently quite well on Switch. RMX, I think, is another one. I think there's enough people that are interested in those per se that the interest could be peaked where they would give it a go. I think there's enough sort of fan favor for what this era of Star Wars looks like to me, sort of like post Empire, maybe kind of
When do you think this game could come out and not get curb stomped this year?
now.
Better now than any other time this year, I think.
Yeah.
But
When is
yeah,
its
because I
release
was
date, by the way?
I don't think it has one yet.
Yeah, it does. It's soon.
Does it really? What should have been on the news is the Wolverine finally got a release date.
Yeah, I guess, but it's one line,
That's a
isn't
bigger
it?
story than all that. What's
I
up?
know, but I can't. You need to remember the UCP news isn't necessarily the hottest news, but sometimes it's there for allow us to play toys, talk about
Allow us to
wider,
play toys.
allow us to talk about wider topics.
Yeah, because
And
the reason
Wolverine's
why I
release date
asked
is interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's a brave time to stick in and go firm right now. So I don't know whether there's industry rumbles or what, who knows? But yeah, uh, let's see how that comes out. Looking forward to it. I don't forget, I think Red Dead managed to shoulder Spider-Man 1 PS4 game coming out within its Halo. So yeah, I think it'll
Red
be
Dead
good.
is also I would argue a Rockstar game is a bigger franchise than a Star Wars game in 2026.
Absolutely.
I was like I'm looking forward to
No,
the
mate,
Mandalorian, but
let me
I
rephrase this. Let me refocus you.
okay, go ahead.
I think the Red Dead Redemption universe is an actual right now way hotter property on its own than Star Wars in its entirety.
Wow.
I reckon the next Red Dead game could do 100 times the bank than the next three Star Wars projects.
I mean, yeah, I don't think the next three Star Wars projects are like super promising anyways, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
The movie
I
industry, in terms of like turnover and revenue, is dead. The gaming industry slaps that base.
I think it sort of depends on the movie too as well. You know, like Star
Oh, your
Wars,
tentpoles will rock up and do gangbusters, yeah.
yeah.
But if GTA 6 comes out, it's literally
Oh, I think
decimating it in one day.
yeah, that's decimating everything this year. But I was just like, if you, I think Star Wars is a real IP that has unfortunately done so much damage to itself
Oh
that
yeah.
it's so much damage to itself that its highs aren't quite enough to where I think it's going to, just by name alone, be able to carry millions and millions of sales anymore. Just like I know RGT's not going to want to hear this. I'm worried about 007 First Light.
No, I think that'll be okay. I've actually changed my mind on that. I was going down one direction, and then the latest gameplay trailer made me think, well, okay, because historic 007 games have always been marred by the success. And people can be, George, you say that's ridiculous. It's true, guys. They've all been marred by nostalgia and the success of a 007 game that came out on the N64. As my great fellow here would say, let the past die. James Bond is not going to work like that now. It's going to work like this. And
You do you think this is going to work? And by work, what do you mean? You think this is going to sell more than a Yakuza game?
oh, this will sell more than a Yakuza game.
Do you think this is going to review higher than a 7?
Based on what I've
I'm
seen,
I'm trying to see what you mean by like this will work. Like
okay.
what parameters does work mean? You know?
Well, what is a parameter of success? If this sells as much as Jedi Fallen Order, is that a success to you?
I don't know because I that's a franchise right now and a trilogy that we might not see a third installment for. So I'm like, I don't
We didn't
necessarily
need the
know if
second
that's
game, if you ask me. But
so
yeah.
I actually think that's better than Outlaws, but that's a different conversation. But
All right. It is Outlaws. Is that a success?
I I know for what they consider no. No, that's not a for what Ubisoft and what Disney wanted. No, Outlaws was not a success. Avatar wasn't a success for what they wanted.
I think this James Bond, it's not tied to a movie franchise. It's not tied to a likeness per se.
Yeah,
It
for
isn't
sure
this.
not.
And I
But
think it's got the room to be do something a bit different. To me, it looks like Uncharted dressed up as James Bond, and for that reason, I think the market's kind of waiting for something along those lines. A rip-roaring kind of AAA level. uh, summer blockbuster popcorn yarn, a game you can slap on and blast through and have fun, but not take too seriously, but also see some pretty cool set pieces.
I want that. I want that, but but my point in my scared nature of this game is like I think for one, it does have a licensing agreement attached to it. The James Bond IP does have a licensing agreement, so it does have to make more than the average no-name
Yeah.
IP.
Well, what
So
about
there's
what about is Hogwarts a failure?
Hogwarts was the biggest success of the year and beat Call of Duty. I don't think 007 First Light is going to touch Hogwarts
I
Legacy's
tell you where I
numbers.
tell you where it's going to get to, and if you throw in these games at a wall, okay, it's going to land. It's going to land below Hogwarts Legacy. It's going to land above like Star Wars Outlaws. It's going to land above like most of the other kind of movie franchise tie-ins. It's going to land there. It's going to be a million miles away from Hogwarts, but I think it's going to. I I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be like 8 out of 10s, if I'm honest with you. It's never going to be. It's
Wow,
never going to be the yeah 7 to
that's
eight
what you
out of
saw?
tens. Yeah.
I'm guessing 6 to 7 range as far as review score, and I'm guessing we're going to get, unfortunately, a story within 12 months about how the game underperformed sales wise. I'm not saying it did bad, but what I'm saying is
We're
underperformed.
always going to get that story because, and I know where you're going. Like James Bond is deader, really, especially at the moment. But we've got a
I don't
new
think we're
Bond.
always going to get that.
We've
And
got a
keep in
new
mind,
we've got a new Bond being announced. So there's a buzz around the James Bond ecosystem right now, and I'd imagine that's going to grow through 2026. We don't know what the behind the scenes timeline is for the Bond universe. It might be that this gets big push.
I think there's a world that we can live in, and I think there's a realistic possibility that even though James Bond is a bigger IP, this game doesn't sell 75% of what Forza is
Let
going to
let
make.
me let me do it through. Let me ask you this question: are you going to get it, and do you think you'll enjoy it?
Yes, I think I'll enjoy it, and I'm debating on if it's a day one purchase.
Okay, right. So you're skeptical and not sure, but you're still
I'm
getting
very
it day one,
skeptical. Yeah.
right? I'll get it day one. RGT's getting it day one. I'll put Scotty on notice until he gets it day one for Switch.
I, is it going to come out for Switch?
Of course it will.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Look, they're playing Indiana Jones right now, dude. So of course they're gonna play it,
Yeah, it is coming out for Switch. Switch 2 on May 27th.
and we'll find out very soon. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Seb, I think we should call it
Oh,
there.
let me ask you this. There's two different games that are coming out within the same weekend. Which one's going to do better
Right, I'll answer this,
financially?
and then it's time for our cocoa
All right.
because you need
Fi
tucking in.
yeah, for sure. Financially and review score wise. Um, the 27th of May, 007 First Light or Lego Batman?
Hmm.
Because I think Lego Batman might curb stomp 007 in both.
I don't think it's curb stomping it because what game are you buying?
I think majority of people, I think the ceiling is higher for Lego Batman than 007, unfortunately.
I think the sales ceiling for that game is higher because it's a kid's game on a kid's toy, right? Of course,
Yeah,
it's
for
going to
sure.
sell,
For
right?
sure.
Based on a
That
kid's
that's a
property, based
component.
on a successful kid's franchise and a sub-franchise of a great franchise. So, yeah, it's going to sell really well. How it compares to Indiana Jones, yeah, it's probably going to smash it. But if Indiana Jones can hang on its coattails, James
007 First
Bond
Light.
can
Yeah.
hang on its coattails, I think they'd deem that a success. I think they know out the gates that they're going to struggle to fight that. Like, how can you? Most of the audience, I mean, Lego Batman's probably a universal for all rated game, so Mumsy's gonna have no problems buying that for little Timmy. But she's gonna look at Indiana Jones with its 15 plus, and she's gonna be like, absolutely not, little Timmy. That's got women's boobies in it.
007, by the way. But I
Yeah, I keep getting them wrong.
00 007 is squished between Batman and Soros. And I'm like, I don't think 007 in its marketing campaign has done a good job of advertising its game. I think it has a bad release date, and I think like the IP things. I think there's a lot of question marks that are surrounding
I
007,
quite
unfortunately.
selfishly only care about how I like it or not, and I'm hoping I like it.
I think from a video game gamer standpoint, I think that's how you should live life. I think like, but when you're entrenched on podcasts and video games and like looking at news all the time, unfortunately, that's not the way we like we soak in all the information. You know what I mean?
I don't want to say too many bad things because if it's good, I want a second game. He's only just started training. I want to see him hit his third game where he's all suave and grown up.
I want that too. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking shit right now, but I want this game to succeed. I just don't think it will
Well, let's
succeed in
let's
the way
talk it
that
up because the revolution starts here.
I wanted Watch Dogs to be a good game, but I can't talk that into being a good
Hey,
series.
listen, I can talk that up. If you want me to talk that game up to the point where you go back and reinstall it, I can do that for you.
I don't think there's a world where I'm gonna go back and reinstall Watch Dogs, to, especially like the third and the first game. But I digress. Let's sign off.
Let's do it. If you've enjoyed what you're listening to, or you've enjoyed what you've been looking at, because you gluttons for punishment, if you've got this far, I I personally think I'm falling in love with you. So either
Thank you.
audio or video, I've got you, and you've got me. I see you, as the avatars would say, the Navi would say. Let's get it right. Stop making mistakes here. James Bond is James Bond, right? He's not Indiana flipping Jones. He's Britain's finest. Seb, they can find you Triple S on the single player experience, but where?
Just search single player experience. On the podcast, you can find the podcast anywhere you like your favorite podcast platforms. And, if you want to know about what games you should be playing, check out the single player experience power rankings, and you'll be able to see what games you should be playing, what games are superior to others, and also what's the hottest games of each and every month in the indie space. So yeah, that's where you can find me. George, where can they listen to this
Well,
wonderful
hang on a minute,
podcast?
mate.
And
They need to rush to your site right now to see if you feverishly backpedaled and put Star Trek Voyager on there to save your own skin and the crown of King of the Indies, which you quite rightly have, that I shall wrestle from you like the Black Prince that I am. Um, Listen, they can find us absolutely everywhere. You type it in the Google, it'll come up. We've got a website. Yeah, we went full 1995. We've got trails after you curse to the lot. You wanted it, we built it. You go there, you find RGT's Hidden Gems, the announcements from the Ponces that we did. Yes, that's our celebrated industry award where we award Game of the Year amongst other various trophies along the way. Oh, so much stuff that we do. It's crazy, isn't it, really? It's crazy. They can go check out the Discord if you want, find a load of like-minded gamers. If you don't want to do that, you can address us on Instagram or Twitter or X as they call it now. You can email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Hey, if you've got an opinion that is feisty enough, you message it in and we'll read it out. We will. If I've made a mistake or Seb has, message in, put us right. If there's an opinion or take in the news that we didn't quite get, and you were like, guys, it was staring you in the face, message in. Let's talk about it. Let's get involved. Let's bring it to the show. That's what we want. We love you. There's nothing much more to say than thank you very much. If you're watching this on YouTube, good day to you. If you're listening to this in your car, careful of that speed bump. Look out for that pothole. Seb, I think that's all we have time for this week. As always, thank you for your time. Look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. And remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Seb.
bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.